record the session. Yes, we will be able to record this particular session, and this is our monthly BlockCoop Sacco community briefing. Every other month, we will be having a session like this, and we will be hosting people from in different sectors, people who have expertise in different fields, for them to be able to come onto this community briefing and give us a topic that we can be able to listen to and talk about. Next month, we have a digital forensic expert who is going to be here, and he'll be talking about is your money safer or more secure on blockchain or in your bank account, right? So is your money more safer on blockchain or on your bank account? So I think that would be a very interesting topic for next month. And this month today, we are talking about the digital wealth shift. So this is the shift that is happening in the market. Today, we'll be looking at the different things that have happened in the market that have actually made people wealthy. So there are different aspects or innovations or opportunities that have presented themselves over the generations that have actually been able to make people wealthy, that have been able to be an opportunity for people to be able to generate wealth or create generational wealth. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And of course, now we are looking at this new age where we are talking about digital ownership, being able to spur the next generation of people who are going to create generational wealth. So when a wealth transfer is happening, or when there's a shift of wealth, then there is an advancement. There's something that is triggering that. And right now, we're talking about digital ownership, which is being triggered, and therefore it becomes an opportunity for people to be able to create wealth. So that's what we want to talk about today. If you have any questions, we are happy to respond to those particular questions. I'll make the session as brief as possible. Then from there, we can have a discussion. If you have any questions, you can raise them, or we can have a discussion. If you're a member of the BlockCoop Sacco, then you can also ask questions about the Sacco. We have Isaac, who serves our customers on the customer care desk, who is here to respond to any queries that you may have, including we'll be letting you know of some of the products that we've launched within our Sacco. As we keep growing, we are launching products that are there to serve the community. So we'll also give you a brief of that, and hopefully we can continue to move forward. So the discussion today is the digital wealth shift. So as you said, every generation gets a moment where they have an opportunity to create wealth, right? And the goal today is to assist you to be able to recognize that there is a moment today that you can be able to generate a lot of wealth. There's a moment today that gives you an opportunity to be able to create wealth into the future. So that's what we will be hoping that you can be able to see that particular moment, because when those moments come, they are not noisy, they are not announced, they are just like any other day. But it's only a few that are able to identify those opportunities, and then they are able to take advantage of those opportunities. So moving forward, then, because every generation gets a wealth shift, right? Every generation. So if you look at, I've used this slide to show you what has been happening over the years, right? So the different wealth shifts that we've been having over the years. So for example, when land and agriculture in the 1900s to 1960, the means by which a lot of people created wealth. That is globally and also here in Kenya. People who understood or who are well positioned to take advantage of land, either through farming, either through cooperatives, either through by buying land because of urbanization. For example, we all know that 50% of the African continent is going to be urbanized by the year 2033. So because we know that, then people who buy land in urban areas, then you know very well that they're catering for that population. They have become wealthy. A majority of most people who are wealthy then from land, we know them. They own land. They own land. They own property. Then in the 1990s, industry and stocks came into place. People who understood that they don't have to create companies. They can own companies through the stock market, right? So for example, yesterday, following the listing of Family Bank, Some people made money yesterday because the share came from 18 shillings to 50 shillings. It went up, then went down all the way to 26 shillings. The people made money by just owning Family Bank. They did not start Family Bank. They don't work at Family Bank. But people who understood industries, which industries are going to make are changing the world, which industries are actually creating the next people, the next wealthy populations. So for example, if you look at tech, tech has been one of those industries for the last, I think, over 2 decades. And in the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, tech stocks have been performing very well, including recently when SpaceX stock was where SpaceX went public. So there were people who are made dollar billionaires. A few of them were made dollar, and many of them were made dollar millionaires by just owning the stock of that company. Anthropic, which is an AI company, the guys who give us ChatGPT, they're going public. They're going to make they're going to make so many people wealthy. So if you understand the times, then obviously you're able to participate early. Then obviously you're able to get the work. Then in the 1995 to early 2010s, we're talking about the internet. So when the internet age came, with the .com age, when the Amazons came into life, when digital commerce came into life, we know people who have created enormous wealth because of the internet, right? So obviously people who understood that particular phase then and went in early, they were able to make a lot of money. Then in 2007, here in Kenya, mobile money. And this time, Africa became a leader, Kenya became a leader. So when mobile money came into the fold, the people who invested on M-Pesa as the first people, the people who became M-Pesa dealers, then these people, you obviously know, they're very wealthy today, right? They're very wealthy because they understood how value needs to move. And that's the combination of the internet and mobile money. When people understood how value is going to move into the future, then those people that participated very highly, then they've created generational wealth. And that's the opportunity today. We're talking about digital assets. So digital assets is another wealth shift moment for this generation. And we would want that anybody who is on this call and anybody who's listening to us live right now on Facebook or on YouTube, and anybody who's going to listen to this particular recording, to understand that today we have the digital assets as a wealth creation moment. And therefore, it is important that you're able to understand how are you able to take advantage of this new moment and be able to be part of the people who are going to create generational wealth. It is our duty as we do our life here on earth to leave inheritance for our children. Our Gen Zs and our Gen Alphas will likely want you to leave them digital assets. They may not want the physical land anymore. They may not want to own buildings anymore. They may not want to own all those things anymore. They may want digital assets. And therefore, we are here to educate you on how you can be able to take advantage of that. So when you look at land and agriculture, so these are just examples of exactly what I've been able to speak to. So when in the 1800s, the US government gave a lot of acres to a lot of people who could have land where there was the railway, because the railway was the means of transport for people who are actually doing agriculture when industrialization was happening within the Americas. So the people who owned the land next to the railroad, those are the people who created a lot of wealth. So the railroad was the means by which they were able to create that. Here in Kenya and in Africa, it is the people who did the coffee trees, the tea, you know, all these lands. Like, for example, the whole of Kiambu, there were so many coffee trees, and there were acres and acres of coffee trees. So the people who understood that and people who participated in that, you know very well, they are the ones today who are selling that land because it's now been urbanized. But they created a lot of generational wealth. They created the initial cooperatives in the 1980s, 1990s, when the tea and coffee cooperatives were very successful and they were making a lot of people very wealthy. So land has been, when the people who understood land and agriculture very early on made a lot of money. And the same people who bought that land now, today, they are selling that land because of urbanization, right? So they're developing that land to provide housing. They're developing that land to provide industries for our people. You know, some of them, whom we know are very wealthy families. They own huge tract of lands, a huge tract of land, and now they are creating cities. They're creating cities and stuff like that. Because why? They have understood that land, and with the rate of urbanization, there will always be a demand for people who need land. So understanding that very early, they were given land maybe for free, or they got land very cheaply, and today they are very wealthy because they have industrialized that land, because they have created housing projects for those people. But before even today, they did a lot of agriculture and participated in cooperatives and things like those, and they made a lot of money. So when you come to industry and stock, of course, Rockefeller, the first billionaire. The same way now we have the first dollar trillionaire, Elon Musk. The first dollar billionaire was Rockefeller, and for him, he focused on Standard Oil. That was refineries. That is where he created his wealth. When industrialization started coming up, and people understood that you don't have to start the business. You can actually own the companies that are industrialization, that are fueling the industrialization of our countries. So the people who are able to understand that they don't have to start companies, they can own those companies. They've become very wealthy. And I've spoken to what has happened in the US. We've seen what has happened with SpaceX. We've seen what has happened with tech stocks. Tech stocks really went up. Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett from the 1980s. He has been one of the biggest investors in the stock market. Here in Kenya, we know all the wealthy families own the companies that are trading at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Those companies are owned by wealthy families. Yesterday, we talked about Family Bank, and you can imagine the family that owns Family Bank, how wealthy they are today. We just start listing at 18 shillings. Today's trading maybe at 26 shillings. Yesterday, it went up all the way to 50 shillings. They created 53 billion shillings within just a few hours in the market. So you can imagine the stock market, people who understand that they can own companies, they can own businesses that drive economies without necessarily having to start the company or work in the company. People who understand that early and they know how to take advantage of that, then they have been able to create what we call generational wealth. And then when it comes to the internet era, we're talking about Amazon, we're talking about Google, we're talking about all the social media platforms. They came because they were enabled because internet became a means by which wealth was going to be created. By just internet coming into place in the 1990s, we have seen people who have generated a lot of wealth just because of that. Safaricom did its IPO in 2008, raised 51.7 billion. Today it's 1.3 trillion. So you can imagine. And Safaricom has been enabled mainly because of internet. And then there was the mobile money in 2007. Obviously, the people who participated in mobile money. We talk about Esther Mishemi being the first dealer who bought into M-Pesa. And today you can imagine the many dealerships that are Samchi and the rest. So you can imagine the opportunity that was there when people never believed in it, because people didn't see how you can be able to move money on an online platform. People were used to moving money through posta. So when there is a shift happening in the market, that's when there is an opportunity for people who understand. And those people then, they will be able to do what? They'll be able to create generational wealth. So the lesson here is the next infrastructure shift rarely announces itself. It looks ordinary until it isn't. And therefore, that's the reason why what we are running from every shift that has happened is that there's new infrastructure that appears. For example, in those olden days, the 1800s in the US, it was the railway line. So the railway line that was passing through the huge tract of lands, the people who cultivated those lands, they had a very good way of transporting those raw materials to the market. They made a lot of money. The stock exchanges came in and the stock market was born. And the people who know that they can be able to trade stocks without necessarily working in those companies have made a lot of money. The infrastructure that fueled the internet era is the internet itself, right? So the internet created new business models, new way of doing commerce, new way of interacting, and a lot of companies, multi-billion companies that are now fueling payments, companies that are fueling social platforms, companies that are fueling commerce, came up, and those people have generated a lot of wealth. Then came mobile networks, right? So we started using the mobile, and then there was mobile money. So all these are infrastructures that have actually been able to define a shift. They've been able to define a wealth shift. So those being the infrastructure. So today we'll be asking ourselves, what infrastructure is new today and is available today that is now fueling the next world shift. And I think that's what is important for us to understand. What is that new infrastructure that is going to fuel the next world shift? So the other thing that we can see with the examples that we've done is the early movers who become owners. So it's not about being a user. It's about being an owner. So if you're an owner of that infrastructure, then you become very wealthy. You have the opportunity to create wealth. So the people who did not wait for permission, the people who bought land, who bought shares, who joined the cooperatives, who registered for M-Pesa became owners, not just users. So today, I believe I'm talking to people who are interested in owning the infrastructure that is going to create wealth moving forward. So if you want to become an owner, then this is the right session for you. So early movers become owners. The people who move in early, then they develop that infrastructure. They become owners of that infrastructure. And when everybody else is coming on board, you'll be telling them in the infrastructure that you've already been able to build. So it's very important that you understand that we are talking about being an owner of this particular infrastructure. So value combines quietly, then suddenly. So wealth from each shift looked unremarkable for years, then became obvious to everyone. Amazon made losses for almost 15 years. Amazon didn't make any money. It's the most profitable company today. It has created billions in wealth for a lot of people, right? Bezos is one of the most wealthiest people in the world, but owns just 4% of that particular company. So you can imagine how wealthy that company is. But it did not make any profit for 15 years. It didn't turn a profit for a very long period of time. So when we are creating these infrastructures, or when you are coming into this, it is very uncertain. You don't know whether you're going to make money. You don't know how money is going to be made. The same thing, if you listen to Esther Mishami's story, she did not believe that M-Pesa was going to be successful, but she put in her money. She did not believe that it was going to amount to anything. Michael Joseph himself did not believe that they are going to onboard 1 million users on M-Pesa within the first day. He didn't even think that would actually happen, but that actually happened. So most of the times when these new shifts are happening, it's a risk that you have to take. You have to get into that particular space without necessarily having to have all the facts right. And you may get into a space that you're not likely to turn a profit very soon. But wealth from each shift looks unremarkable for years, then became obvious to everyone. So it compounds quietly. So as long as you're willing to be a patient, long-term investor, as long as you're willing to be an owner, as long as you're willing to create generational wealth, then when this world shift is happening, then you are the perfect person to participate as an owner. So the question worth sitting with today is, where were you when digital assets were still early? So digital assets started becoming prominent in 2009. How many people participated? How many of you are in? But we are still not late because we have the opportunity to be able to participate. So the shift that is happening now, and this is what now we are discussing today, it is blockchain and the digital wealth. So blockchain is the infrastructure that is now fueling the next world shift, right? So as I said before, land, stocks, and mobile money, each shift made ownership a little more open. Blockchain is the next step in that same story, making ownership verifiable. So the infrastructure that is fueling the next world shift, which we are calling the digital world shift, is blockchain technology. So what is blockchain? And that's a question that a lot of people ask, because blockchain is the infrastructure. So we've talked land was an infrastructure that fueled a world shift, right? Internet was an infrastructure. Stock exchanges was an infrastructure, right? Mobile money was an infrastructure. And today we're talking about blockchain as the infrastructure that is fueling the digital world shift. So blockchain is a shared notebook that everyone can see. It's just a ledger. It's just a ledger that everybody can see. It's a ledger, it's a record, right? It's a shared notebook. Blockchain is a digital record keeping system for who owns what, right? So it is a notebook that is not with one person. Every person has a copy of that particular notebook. That notebook is public. Everybody can see what is being written on it, right? Everybody. They can read every entry. Everybody can see the transactions that are actually happening. And there is no one person who can tamper with it. There's no one person who can change a record on that particular notebook. Nobody can do that. So that is what blockchain is. It's just a notebook. It's just a record. It's a record of transaction. That is number one. We have said it is what? It is public. Everybody can see. Very public. Number two, that record does not sit on one server. It is not with one person. It is with many people. That's what we call decentralization. We have said it is immutable. Immutable means that whatever has been written on it can never be deleted. It is tamper-proof. No single person can quietly erase or change anything on it. And that record is automated. It records itself. It runs on itself. It does not depend on human beings. So that is what blockchain is. And because now we have a digital record-keeping system, this now allows people to own things digitally. So that's the first benefit of blockchain technology. The reason why blockchain technology is now the infrastructure for what we call digital ownership is because it allows people to own things digitally. It is able to provide what? Verifiable ownership record without a middleman. If today you own some land, uko na shamba, so that we can verify that you own that land, we have to go to the Ministry of Lands and confirm, because they are the ones who have the records. If you have invested in SIB Masaix, or you have invested in some money market fund, the only way we can verify that you have invested 100,000 shillings in a money market fund is to go to the record of that money market fund and establish whether your record is there, your 100,000 shillings is there. If today you buy shares of a SACCO, like Mwalimu, Stima, or any other SACCO, the only way we can confirm that you have shares is the middleman, the SACCO. We have to go to the record of the SACCO and establish whether you actually own those shares. But with blockchain, we do not need all those middlemen. We don't need the land registry. We don't need the SACCO. We don't need the MMF. From this record, from this shared notebook, anybody in the world can confirm that you own a piece of land, that you own a property somewhere, that you own 100,000 of an MMF investment, that you own shares of this particular SACCO. Anybody is able to verify and confirm that without actually going into that institution. So what has made it easier for us to own this digitally? Blockchain. Why? Because today we can have what we call verifiable ownership. So if you are a member of BlockCoopBlockCoop and you have shares of BlockCoopBlockCoop, so when you buy our shares, we give you digital shares. We don't give you a receipt. We don't tell you, thank you for buying minimum shares, here's the receipt. No, 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 no. We give you shares, digital shares, they're called blocks. We give you blocks to your wallet. With those blocks, you don't need hash, or you don't need the chairman of BlockCoopBlockCoop or an employee at BlockCoopBlockCoop to confirm to anybody in the world that you are a member. The fact that you have blocks in your wallet, it is verifiable proof that you own shares of BlockCoopBlockCoop, and you can use those shares for anything you want. You can transfer them to someone else. You can go to the market and pay for your shopping with them. Because why? It is verifiable by everybody. So blockchain has enabled us to be able to provide digital shares of BlockCoopBlockCoop that are verifiable without someone having to come to BlockCoopBlockCoop to confirm that you actually have what? Shares in the circle. So that's the first benefit. Number two, it can move value anywhere. You can send money or assets across the world in minutes. If today you have shares of BlockCoopBlockCoop, which are on the blockchain, record-keeping system, this digital record-keeping system, which is called blockchain, then you can be able to send blocks to anybody in the world. You can send to your friend in the US and they can use them there. You can send to your friend in South Africa and they will receive them in instant. If you are using the digital dollar, you can send it anywhere. M-Pesa is mobile money, but M-Pesa only makes sense to be transferred within the country because that notebook that records all the transactions of M-Pesa is owned by one person. called Safaricom. Safaricom is the company that you can go to verify your M-Pesa balance. But if M-Pesa was on the blockchain, you would not need to call customer care at M-Pesa to confirm your M-Pesa balance. Why? Because you can verify by yourself on the blockchain that you have that, and you can move value not only within the borders of Kenya, but anywhere across the world in minutes. Number three, it is that blockchain has built trust without paperwork. You don't need to sign a contract with someone. You don't need to show your investment form or your share subscription form of BlockCoopBlockCoop. You don't need to show your investment form and you decide to invest in an MMF. No, paperwork is no longer needed. That digital token is verifiable ownership, and therefore it builds trust. People are able to trust that you are actually an owner of BlockCoopBlockCoop. They are able to trust that that investment actually belongs to you. They are able to trust that that land belongs to you. So therefore, blockchain becomes the solution for digital ownership, and it is the infrastructure that has powered that. So for example, our land registry, you have heard everybody say it needs to be on blockchain. Our IBC, they need to perform elections on blockchain. Why is everybody saying that? Because it is an infrastructure, it's a notebook that is trusted. It is trusted with the records that are kept there. People trust that whatever record that is on the blockchain cannot be tampered with. Someone else cannot change in secret, you know? So that trust is what makes the transactions within the blockchain technology very seamless and able to move forward. So those are the three things that blockchain has been able to do. And that is why today we have that digital world shift, that people are not going to own assets physically anymore. Nobody is going to go for a title deed of a property or a land. No, people are going to own those land in a digital form. They will own those title deeds in a digital form because blockchain has made digital ownership possible. So ownership is the last thing to go digital. So today we have what we call digital banking. We have digital commerce. Now we have what we call digital ownership. Assets are moving online now, right? So everything is digital. Going to work is digital. Now owning assets is going to be digital. So you can be able to own your land on a digital format through a process we call tokenization. Anybody interested in learning that? We provide opportunities for you to actually be able to learn that in our academy. So once you join the BlockCoopBlockCoop community, you will go through a 3-week program just to learn these terminologies. But what you are saying is that blockchain has made digital ownership possible, and therefore all the assets that you know of, your gold, your silver, your land, your house, you get it, right? Everything that you own is likely to be owned digitally. So the best thing is that you are able to understand the next world shift that is actually happening. So owning things digitally is actually opening access to people. Today, you could not be able to own a land in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia. You could not be able to own a building, right, in Dubai. You could not be able to own a building in South Africa. Now you can be able to do it. It's called borderless access. Capital and opportunity can move across borders without waiting a traditional gatekeeper. So there is no gatekeeper. You can buy a fraction of an apartment in Dubai and start earning rent today. You can buy a property in Kuala Lumpur and start earning today. So people in Malaysia, Southeast Asia, people in the diaspora, people across Africa are owning shares in BlockCoopBlockCoop. Why? Because it's available on a digital platform. So what digital ownership has done, it has made what we call borderless access to opportunities that were previously inaccessible to a lot of people. So we have community investing. People can come pool resources and invest together. We have shared ownership. So large assets like land or buildings can be divided into smaller tokenized shares anyone can own. So if you wanted to buy Savo today, you don't have to go have 2.1 million shillings to buy a Savo apartment. You can buy a Savo apartment with just 100,000, with just 500,000, and you can be earning your rental yield. So that is how wealth has been democratized. So that wealth is not a preserve of just a few rich people, but anybody is able to own. Then number 3, borderless access. That you not only need to own wealth in Kenya, you can own wealth anywhere in the world. We can own the diamond mines in South Africa. We can own the copper mines in Uganda. We can own the refinery that is being done. We can be able to own anything in Dubai. We can own things in Kuala Lumpur. Anyways, you have opportunities to own assets across the world. And that is why we are saying that this current digital world shift that is happening is an opportunity for anybody and everybody to be able to create generational wealth. And that's the reason why you see BlockCoop is taking this lead step to make sure that as many people as possible, as many Africans as possible, who have been left out and who say that wealth belongs to a few people, where we can see the wealth gap, especially in Kenya, widening day by day because a few people own everything that we have. Now everybody is able to own anything at any particular point. You can start with your 1,000 shillings. You can start with your 50,000 shillings. It is possible to do that because of blockchain technology that has actually defined digital ownership and changed how we own this. So where digital wealth is being built. So what are the opportunities that are there for you today to be able to create digital wealth? What opportunities exist? So tokenized property is one of them. And we'll talk about real estate split in digital shares, letting many people could own one asset. So if previously you could not buy a server property or you could not buy a house that could give you rental income, today you can be able to start earning rental income with as low as 50,000 shillings, with as low as 100,000 shillings. You can start earning rental income. You can earn it here in Kenya, you can earn it in Dubai, you can earn it in Malaysia. And these are the opportunities we want to bring to the community members of BlockCoop so they can be able to see where can they own tokenized property. We will bring in you a lot of these opportunities with HFCB Bank, with Housing Finance Bank. We will bring you these opportunities to own property that was out of reach. Property that they said is 3 million, it's 4 million, it's 10 million, it's 20 million. You can own it now. It is not a preserve of a few people. It is a preserve for you today. Because why? Digital ownership makes it possible. Number two is digital currencies. So digital currencies started up in 2009 with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the biggest digital currency in the world. You can be able to own those kind of currencies. Digital shares and funds. You can own digital shares like BlockCoop shares. They are digital shares. You can be able to own them now, right? They are tradable. You can be able to own the digital shares of SpaceX. You can own digital shares of Tesla, digital shares of Amazon, digital shares of all those companies in the US, and investing in them does not require a broker. You don't need a broker anymore. Right? You just execute transactions from the comfort of your home, and you're able to own and get dividends from companies that are trading in the US because digital shares and funds have made it possible for you to do that. You can now be able to finance your business, tokenized SME financing. So businesses don't have to go to banks to get credit. Businesses don't have to go and borrow at very expensive rates. For example, we just realized that people are buying phones with lipa mdogo mdogo, na mtu analipa interest ya 90% per year. 90% per year. People are impoverishing our people. We are saying that you can be able to get those loans. And one of the products we've launched, to tell you, is that you can take a loan in dollars or in Kenya shillings from BlockCoop for as low as 4% per annum. We want you to be successful. We don't want to impoverish you. You can take a loan today at lipanablocks.com, instant loan, USDT or Kenya shilling at 4% per annum. So tokenized SME financing, we are assisting businesses to go out there into the market, the global market, and access capital. You can go and tell people, invest in my business. So we are doing that through what we call tokenization. We have an infrastructure. We'll be able to show you that. Infrastructure tokens. You can own the infrastructure that are powering this new economy. You can own the infrastructure for people. For example, people who have bought the shares of BlockCoop in the primary market, people who have membership packages, they make money every time someone trades our shares in the global market. Every time if someone in the US buys blocks, if someone in South Africa buys blocks, if someone in Malaysia buys blocks, if you have invested, if you have a membership package, you make money. Why? Because you own infrastructure tokens. You own the infrastructure that these people are trading on. Those people are users. They're called the users. You own the infrastructure on which they are users. So that is what we are actually saying about being an owner and not just being a being a user. When someone uses Lipana blocks, they go to the supermarket, they go to the shop, and they pay using blocks. You make money. Why? Because you own the infrastructure. And that's why I'll be urging all of you to make sure that you are able to buy a membership package. It starts from $1,000. If you buy that, then you become an owner of the infrastructure. You don't need to own, you don't need to invest 10, 20 million, 30 million shillings into BlockCoop for you to make money. No, no, no. With as little as $1,000 today, you can be making money every time someone uses the infrastructure that we've done. And I can tell you, we are bringing other circles on the blockchain. You will hear their shares are going to be trading courtesy of us. We're in partnership with the Housing Finance Bank, they are now called HFCB, to make sure that we bring every circle on this infrastructure, because this is the future of what finance looks like. So if you want to be a part of this, then you own the infrastructure tokens of BlockCoop, which is Blocks LP, and you buy those on the primary market. So you make sure you have a membership package. The knowledge and access is also an opportunity. When you are on this webinar and you are receiving the information that we are giving to you, we are opening up your mind, we are showing you the opportunities, then you are actually building yourself to become successful and to become and to participate in this particular digital world shift. So this is very important, and we are going to be having physical meetings every quarter. The first one is coming up, I think, around August at Kempinski. It's going to be at Kempinski, and you're going to meet all the primary market members of BlockCoop Circle, and we network and we talk together, and we are able to build our knowledge. In October, date 6 October, for 1 week, we will be in Singapore and Malaysia. So we are going to Singapore for 3 days for the Token 2049 festival, and then we go to Malaysia, and then we're back to Kenya. Why? Because this networking is exchange of knowledge. You need to see how blockchain is changing industries, how it is changing businesses, and that's what we're going to be seeing on that particular expo we are going to in there. So the world is already building around it. So it's not like we are starting, as I've told you, this started in 2009, and we're not late. We are at the right time. So because why? Governments now have been able to understand the space, and they're now doing the regulations. For example, you've heard in the US, we have what we call the Genius Act. You have had the Clarity Act that is currently being passed. Here in Kenya, last year, we passed what we call the Virtual Asset Service Provider Act. It was passed here in Kenya. Why? Because governments know that's the future. This is now the shift that is happening, and it is good for them to regulate the space so that now people can be able to participate safely in that particular space. So governments are already writing regulations around this. Banks are building digital asset and custody services. I've told you, HFCB Bank, Equity Bank, Credit Bank, APSA Bank, all these, they are building the infrastructure that is going to support you to be able to own these digital assets. M-Pesa has partnered with ADA Chain. They've already partnered, and they are moving on blockchain rails. They are moving, especially if you want to do cross-border remittance of money, the M-Pesa will be interfacing with blockchain to allow you to send money to your friend in South Africa, to send money to another person on M-Pesa in Tanzania, to send money to Rwanda, and things like those. So every institution is actually building on this. So we need to do that. Businesses are integrating digital payments and tokens. For example, if you look at our own business at BlockCoop Circle, if you look at every other business, today, businesses are accepting the dollar. We are launching what we call a USDT account in BlockCoop Circle. You will be able to save your money in dollars in our circle. Why? Because we want to cushion you against inflation, especially now that elections are coming up next year. You remember when the other elections were coming, the Kenya shilling went up to 160 shillings on the dollar. We want to cushion you. So you can open a dollar account, which is a digital dollar USDT account with BlockCoop Circle. So we're integrating that. Why? To cushion you from inflation. And you can still go and pay at your fuel station, at your shopkeeper, in Naivas, in Quickmart. You can still pay with M-Pesa, but from your dollar. So you keep your money in dollars, but you're able to pay with M-Pesa. So new businesses are integrating this, and they're able to do that. Then we have investors allocating. So for example, BlockCoop Circle was born because a very good foundation in South Africa called Alan and Gray Foundation invested in BlockCoop. They saw two young people who can solve problems within the cooperative sector in Africa. And they said, we will support you. We will give you the money that you need to do the research, to build the systems, to change Africa, to build solutions for the Africans. So those are investors who are actually putting money into this. We have seen a lot of allocation by Equity Bank into this particular space. We have seen allocations by every other person who's building. HFCB Bank is investing to be able to move its infrastructure on the blockchain because a shift is happening and it is time for you to be a part of it. So not everything digital is good. And this is now the warning signs. You know, this is what we tell people, that a lot of people have lost money in this particular space, especially because either they did not have enough knowledge and they were scammed. Maybe some of them invested blindly because they did not understand. You have no knowledge. One of the biggest risks in any business that you go to is investing in something that you do not know. If you don't know, why are you putting your money? You know, so you put your money in something that you do not know, then you head up losing money, right? So they have scams, you have all these kind of things. We have reckless projects. You invest in projects that people are not committed to meeting their objectives. So education becomes an important thing for you to be able to do. And that's why we are here today, to educate you. Right? That's why today we are here to give you trusted guidance, right? So we are here to walk the journey with you. And BlockCoop Circle is that community. It's a global community of people who are interested in staying ahead of the digital world shift. That's what BlockCoop Circle is. So if you do not understand the space, don't run and rush to invest. Don't run to put your money because you had someone else put their money, they made money. Yeah, you can make money, you can lose money. So you need to learn first. Learn before you invest. And the best way to learn is to be part of a community of trusted people who can be able to guide you. And there is no better community than BlockCoop Circle, which is a global community. And that's why we are saying we're going to have physical meetings. We'll have a physical meeting at Kempinski in August. We will travel together to meet other people from across the world on October 6th. October 6th, please go to our community. You will see the delegation that is going to Singapore. Please join that group, put up your deposit. And remember, if you are a Circle member, then you are getting up to 30% discount for that particular trip. And if you buy a membership package of $20,000, you will go for that trip for free. That trip will be free for you. You get it, eh? So there are opportunities to go and meet other people, to talk with other people, to network, to do all these kind of things. That is how we are able to de-risk your investment within this particular space. So as the digital world shift happens, please make sure that you're part of a community that will focus on educating you first. That's the reason why the moment you buy a membership package, we put you on a 3-week program where we train you on digital assets. So it's a Web3 certified course. If you want to attend, it's every Monday to Thursday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Monday to Thursday for 3 weeks. We are now in cohort 6, I think cohort 5 or cohort 6. So you'll be able to join that for free. Why? Because it equips you with the knowledge and the understanding that you need for you to be able to participate sustainably and long term. You know, so that is one of the things that you need to be able to do. Please don't be duped. Please don't put your money in something that you don't understand. Please seek knowledge first. Please join the BlockCoop community, because here you will get trusted guidance. So, and that's what I've said. The community for this moment is BlockCoop Circle, right? So BlockCoop Circle is a cooperative for building digital wealth. That is who we are, a cooperative for building digital wealth. So the same way our parents, who had huge trunk of lands, who had the coffee, the coffee trees, who had the tea farms, who had the milk, they came into cooperatives, right? They did cooperatives, walifanya hizo cooperatives zao, and they used to get to what we call booms. They used to be successful. We have built a cooperative for people interested in digital assets. If you're interested in building a digital asset portfolio, if you're interested in leaving generational wealth to your children, if that is your interest, then BlockCoop Circle is the cooperative for you. So you don't have to do this alone. You can learn responsibly within the BlockCoop community. We give you a lot of education. For those who are going to buy we have the starter package, we have the growth package, then we have the legacy package. If you buy our growth package or legacy package, you get personalized advice. You get a person who works with you this particular journey. So we come together as a community and we're able to identify opportunities together, right? So we're able to see which, if you want to buy tokens for real estate, we advise you which ones to buy. If you want to buy tokens for stocks, we show you which stocks to buy. If you want to buy tokens for funds, we show you which tokens to buy for funds, and we finance you to do that. We give you ×3, ×4, ×5 your savings to actually go and buy those digital assets. And I've told you, Tawasako is where today you're able to borrow the dollar or the Kenya shilling for as low as 4% per annum. So let's learn, let's connect, and let's participate together, and let's build the future that we all want to belong to together at BlockCoop Circle. So that's the presentation that I had for you today to educate you on the moment that we are in, which is the digital world shift moment. And I'm really looking forward to get your questions and be able to answer them. And of course, we can learn more. If you have any question, this is the opportunity. Asanteni sana. Thank you very much. This presentation has been recorded, so it will be shared to all of you and everyone. Looking forward to questions. We have 30 more minutes to go. Asante sana. Kelvin, you can continue to moderate.
Yes, thank you so much, Gideon, for that good session. As you try to explain why BlockCoop is the first blockchain circle, or the first credit union. That's how they call it in some other countries. Other countries, they call it cooperatives. It's the first cooperative to run on blockchain here in Africa. And thank you also for mentioning, now we're in a digital wealth shift. And you're encouraging people to get positioned to make sure that they don't get left behind. So I see Philip is saying he's good. He's glad to be here. Welcome, Philip. I would like to welcome everybody else. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type on the chat. You can also send on our WhatsApp. We are always here to help you guys. Also joined with us is our head of our commercial and also our head of customer service, Bwana Isaac. If he's in the position to speak, he can turn on his mic. If not, then that's okay. So Isaac, if you're in a position to say hi, you can say hi.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, thank you, Gideon, for a great presentation on the digital wealth shifts. I like the fact that you've been able to capture the wealth transfer that has been happening all the way back to, I think, that's 1900. Yeah, when the Rockefellers started on the standard gauge rail. I mean, I think it was the railway and the oil. Yeah, so it's the same thing that keeps on happening every time. The same way we moved from barter trade to cash, you know. So there's always a generation that benefits from all these wealth transfer shifts. I think what I would also just like to add on is the fact that we are in a digital transition where everything seems to be done well or better or improved by the AI. And what I would like to mention is that AI, so that you can believe in that presentation and how it has been presented, is that AI will not use cash to do transactions. AI will use digital tokens to make transactions. So you already know that AI is already part of us. A lot of advancements are happening each and every day. I know most of us are probably just familiar with ChatGPT, but there are other AI agentic AIs, you know, that really do quite a lot. So even when it comes to transactions, you just instruct it to do A, B, C, D, and D, and it'll just transact. So that's what I'm saying. In the future, in probably by the year 2030, AI will be doing a lot of these things, and AI will not use cash. It will use digital tokens like blocks and other tokens. That's why it's very important for us to be keen, to be curious, to learn, and also encourage your friends to join this community, because this is trusted community. Uh, and you learn, you'll not be left behind. For the first time, I feel like we are hand in hand with the we are working hand in hand with the developed countries like the United States, and thanks to us, because we are bringing these things closer to closer home. That is Kenya and Africa, um, and we are marching together with the developed countries so that we Africans are not left behind. Because in many cases, when you are just a consumer, um, you just get you just see innovations happening, and you just consume, and you don't have a way to benefit. So at least for the first time, you have a benefit, because you can own the infrastructure by becoming a shareholder of BlockCoop Circle. You can also get to network. We say your network is equals to your net worth. You are able to network and connect. We look for opportunities where we invite you into higher end meetings where innovators, business people get to interact, and probably in one way or the other, even in your line of business, you can get to connect with them. So also with the trip that we have to Singapore on October 6th, the reason as to why it's a conference, it's a big conference. I think I'll share some of the links with you guys so that you can explore. You find industry leaders in the blockchain space, people you just hear about. Some of them you don't even hear about them, but people you see on the news, like the founders of Binance, the founders of Ethereum, the Trump family, which is also big in the token and the crypto space, and on the blockchain space. You get to interact with those people, and you get to see the future, right in front of you. So yeah, so anyway, there's a lot going on in the community. We'll be sharing a lot, and we are happy to have you guys. And let's interact. Let's ask the questions. There's nothing difficult here. If you feel free to ask any question. I always tell most of the shareholders that yes, we understand this is new, but we are here. We are here to mentor you. We are here to educate you. Even if you don't understand technology, feel free to ask. There is no any question is good question. So yep, thank you. If you have any questions, as Kevin has mentioned, you can continue. You can ask. Thank you, Kevin.
Okay, thank you so much, Isaac. Thank you for that. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Nobody has sent any questions so far, but always you guys feel free to always reach out to us anytime. Also have some good news. I just received a message from one of our head on the marketing department, and they decided that everybody who joined here today, they'll be receiving a gift. You'll be receiving a gift from on your email. That's in form of promo code. Let me go ahead and share my screen with your permission, Gideon. Share my screen a little bit.
Yes, please.
Just to show you how the platform looks like. I hope everybody can see my system. So this is Ripana Brox. This is Ripana Brox. This is how Ripana Brox looks like. This is one of the products that belongs to BlockCoop Circle that was requested by the BlockCoop Circle members. So they voted for this product whereby they be able to use their shares whenever they whenever they go to maybe a store, a mall, or maybe a supermarket, they want to do shopping. They don't have the cash in hand, but they want to use their shares. They can always pay for their goods and services in real time using their shares. And the reason how you're able to do this is because their shares are digital. So they just click on pay. They can be able to pay to any till, to any M-Pesa till, to any phone number, or to any pay bill. They can be able to do that directly. So these shares will be deducted directly from their wallets because they are digital shares. So even people like outside, outside Kenya, they've started requesting for more features on this, and I'm very sure with Gideon's being on top of this, being the CEO, will be headed on the right direction to accommodate everyone else everywhere globally. Apart from that, there's a new feature that was added. So the first time when Lipana Blocks was introduced, so it was only having the M-Pesa, because as I said, so this was one of the major requests that was requested by the BlockCoop Circle members to have this, the M-Pesa. Then the global community also requested to be able to buy the blocks directly from Lipana Blocks. So you just go to lipanablocks.com and they can be able to buy directly using the USDT as well. So on that. So that one, anybody globally can be able now to go to Lipana Blocks and they can be able to buy blocks easily by just using USDT on that. So that's a feature that was also requested. Another feature that was requested as well, a lot of feature, was they send and receive. The send and receive, like people can be able to send blocks to each other. Remember, blocks is a digital share, right? It's a digital share of BlockCoop Circle. Like it's like you having maybe a stock, maybe you're having a Safaricom stock, and think about it. You can send maybe, let's say you have 100 stocks. You can send 2 stocks to your friend, and your friend can use those 2 stocks that you send them. They can use those 2 stocks that you send them to go and pay maybe for a petrol, in a petrol station or a gas station. So that's a request that was made. So the big request, the big upgrade that happened is on savings. So now you can be able, so every time that you spend, like every time any BlockCoop Circle member, anytime like anybody with the blocks that they use the Lipana blocks, you spend the Lipana blocks maybe on a supermarket. So automatically BlockCoop is able to save some amount on your behalf. So so you can be able to save some amount. So there's a feature, it goes on your savings. So if you start savings, if you start like using Lipana blocks, so it goes on savings, and you can use those savings to borrow against those savings that you have. You can use it to do the loans as well. If you want to take a loan against your savings, against your blocks, you can do that. And nowadays, this is open for everybody globally, because remember, blocks runs on chain. So that means is borderless. Like you are not constrained to any borders. So you can get immediate loans, and you can decide to receive loans in form of USDT. You can also decide to receive loans in form of Kenya shillings. So other currencies will be coming. So in partnership, so will be opening for other countries like Nigeria, South Africa, and will be going global as well. But anybody who is global, at least they can, for now, they can have the USDT, and they can be able to confirm the USDT anywhere that they are, despite whether they're in Qatar, they're in UAE, they're in UK, they're in anywhere. Like they can be able to do, they can be able to receive loans in form of USDT immediately. So those are some of the features that are added. So as I said, we got some good news. So you guys will be receiving something we call a coupon code. So anytime that so there's this coupon code, so you'll be receiving a coupon code as a gift on your email. So you guys make sure you trace the coupon code. This is a gift that came from our head with permission from Gideon as well. So this coupon code will be sent to your emails. If you didn't register on Luma, so most likely we don't have your email. If you don't have your email, you can feel free to send us your email on info@blockcoopcircle.com. You can just send us an email at blockcoop@gmail.com, or you can always send us a WhatsApp message. I'm pretty sure Isaac can let you know the number that you can give us a call, or you can send us a WhatsApp message on. Otherwise, it was a pleasure having you guys. It's always a pleasure growing this community, and we are always here to help. So for those people who are interested in now the circle now itself, now the homepage of the circle, the mother circle, this is the BlockCoop Circle website. So if you Google just BlockCoop Circle, or you just Google blockchain circle, BlockCoop Circle will be there. And the packages, the ones that Gideon was talking about, these are the packages. So these are the people who participate in the primary market, whereby they create the shares of BlockCoop Circle. These are the packages, minimum $1,000 to $10,000, all the way to $1 million. So, and there are people, even though you buy $100,000, I'm very sure you know be probably top 5. So yeah, people are coming in, and it's high opportunity that everybody takes this chance. This is the first blockchain circle. It might seem a Greek, but we're pretty sure we are headed in the right direction. Thank you so much, guys. It's always a pleasure. If there's nothing else, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
There is something, Kelvin.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I can see David Gitonga was asked a question, and the question is 3 questions actually. Can you explain how someone can acquire shares via mobile money apart from USDT? Any other options, and how does the secondary market work? So you can go back to Lipana Blocks. So David, one of the ways you can buy shares on a primary market and secondary market. So if you want to buy on the secondary market using M-Pesa, then you use Lipana Blocks. So when you go to Lipana Blocks, there's a place there, Kelvin, you can share again, where you have what we call add blocks. When you click on add blocks, you can select M-Pesa. And once you select M-Pesa, then you can say, you can put maybe whatever, put 16. Yeah, so you can see 1600 would give you 1.69 blocks. You put your number, and then you get an STK push, and you have bought M-Pesa, you have bought blocks using M-Pesa on the secondary market. So this is secondary market because these blocks, you can buy and sell them anytime. So you can buy and pay a bill with them in the supermarket. You can buy and do that. And once you buy them here, you can click on pay and go and pay. And when you are paying, that's where you apply the coupon code. So the coupon code that we'll send to you on email, you may find it is a 10% discount coupon code. So 10% means that if you're paying 1,000 shillings, you will pay 900. So 100 shillings will be saved for you as blocks. So Lipana Blocks is a platform that allows you to accumulate ownership in BlockCoop Circle with every payment you make. So every time you make a payment, you're able to accumulate as blocks. And every day is a discount day. Every day is a discount day because, as you can see, everybody has a discount. How do you grow your discount? If you owed so many blocks, maybe 25 plus blocks, and you owe them for a long time, then you will actually be able to get some of the highest discounts every time that you are transacting. So that's the way of buying them in the secondary market. So you've asked, and how does the secondary market work? The secondary market is basically buying and selling, right? So if you're using Lipana Blocks and you had the blocks, that's buying. When you say pay, you're actually selling. So you can just use Lipana Blocks to buy and sell. If you are buying the shares in the primary market, you can still use M-Pesa. So go to primary market, Kelvin. So if you go to primary market on our website, blockcoopcircle.com, and you come here, if you click on a package here, so for example, click on a package, so click on purchase package. So if you click on purchase package, then you can be able to put in an amount in dollars. You can select M-Pesa. So you're able to select M-Pesa there. And you can, you can use your wallet or you can use M-Pesa. So you can actually be able to buy a package using M-Pesa on the primary market. So that is also very much possible for you to be able to do. So that's some of the ways that we are able to support you in terms of being able to buy that. So apart from USDT, so we will bring other payment methods, such as for people in other countries, in Uganda, in Tanzania, everywhere, we'll be able to do that. So because we are now going to provide a Kenya shilling wallet, we're going to provide a USDT wallet, which is basically an account, and now a blocks account. So what you currently have is a blocks account. Now we will be able to give you a Kenya shilling account and a USDT account. On Lipana Blocks, do you use shares or do you convert them? Expound on this, David. So you will use shares. So it's your shares that you actually pay, but they are sold in the market. So the shares are sold in the market. So when you're making a payment to Naivas wants to receive Kenya shilling, right? So that's why we are saying when you click on pay now, then the shares are sold to dollars, so they come to USDT, and then the USDT is converted to Kenya shilling, and Naivas gets paid. The same way, When you are buying, you bring your Kenya shilling, you convert to USDT, then you convert to blocks. You buy blocks in the market. So add blocks is a buy transaction. Pay now is a sell transaction. So you actually sell your shares in the market. So what are we doing? We are telling people, if you have shares of a circle or of our circle, then you cannot sleep hungry. You can actually use them to do your shopping. You can use them to fuel your car. Unlike if you go and buy shares of another circle, they don't trade anywhere. They are nowhere. So we're telling you, if you own blocks, then blocks are liquid and can be sold in the market. Number 3, how does shareholders earn interest on their blocks holdings? How do you convert the interest? So if you have bought shares in the primary market, remember, you have different ways of making money. Number 1, you make what we call a trading fee. So trading fee, every time someone transacts on the secondary market, you get paid. And you get paid in blocks. So we pay you in blocks. So you get paid in blocks, and it's automatic through a smart contract. 95% of our circle runs automatically. There is no human being who is running it. It's the contracts we built. So you get paid trading fees in blocks. Dividends will come to you at the end of the year, and by next year, once we do our AGM, and our AGM is going to be online. So when dividends come, they'll come again as blocks. So every payment you receive will be blocks. Then you can now go and use those blocks. You can sell them if you want in the market. You can go making payments. You can do whatever it is that you want. So you get paid in blocks. So you earn a trading fee. You're able to earn dividends, and you have potential capital gains. Capital gains is the price maybe has gone up. So for example, yesterday, Family Bank shares went up from 18 shillings to 50 shillings, then went down again to 26 shillings. People made money, people lost money. That's how the market works. So if the shares go up and you're holding them for a long time, for example, if you buy in the primary market, you hold for a long time. You hold for up to 3, 4, 5 years. So of course, if you bought today, people who bought last year in October, it was at $1. Today it's at $7.2. Probably 3 years from now, maybe it'll be $20. We don't know. So that capital gain, it's easy for you to benefit from it because you can sell easily. Unlike land, you can sell land if it goes up. It's very difficult to sell it. Very crazy. So that's another benefit. Or instead of selling because we don't want you to sell, we want you to leave this as an inheritance, you can borrow against it. So that's how you're able to can borrow the dollar or can borrow SDT. So if you buy shares in the secondary market, you must have 25 shares, 25 blocks for you to benefit from number 1, taking loans, and number 2, dividends. So that's what you benefit from, taking loans and dividends, and of course, capital gains, because the share price may go up, so you're able to benefit from that. So for you to benefit in taking loans and having dividends, you must have 25 blocks. So that's how you're able to benefit by getting rewarded with blocks when you buy in the secondary market. So David, I hope I've answered your questions. To contact our customer care, 0790-129-796, 0790-129-796. WhatsApp, and they'll be able to guide you through the process. Asante sana.
All right.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gideon, for that time. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Always feel free to reach out to us and be on the lookout on your email. If you don't receive a gift from us within 24 hours from BlockCoop, please feel free to get in touch with either the customer service, the one that is on the partner block, the 0790129796, or you can always reach out via the email. Thank you so much, guys. God bless. Have a good one. Bye-bye.